Is real estate investing risky? That is a question that we're going to answer today.
As a single professional, I had debt and no savings after my divorce. I always wonder how I can start investing in real estate to secure my future. I studied programs that gave me all the benefits of investing in real estate. Some claim I could start with no money, but I could not find one that gave me the practical, actionable steps I needed. As a wealth advisor, I've met people that own real estate but weren't ahead financially. They were rich, but they weren't wealthy. Then I finally realized that there was one vital component missing that makes someone become wealthy or not. And on this show, I will reveal what I found and give you the step-by-step actions to start investing in real estate and increase your wealth. My name is Araceli. Let's get started.
Many people have asked me if investing in real estate is risky. Well, there is a risk to anything that we do or don't do, right? And so real estate investing throughout the years has been proven to be one of the best investments that you can possibly do. But before we get into the risk, let's talk a little bit about what it means to invest. What is investing? So in a very basic terms, investing is committing resources, and this would be money and time, acquiring or doing something with the expectation of a positive return. And I want to really underline the expectation of a positive return. So as an example, let's think about someone that is in a relationship. So now you are spending your time with this person with the expectation that you're gonna get married, maybe you're gonna have fun, and you're gonna have companionship and so on for the long term. However, after 2 years, this relationship ends. Well, so all the time that we invested into this relationship didn't give us any return at all, right? So this is a very good illustration about how investing works. And in terms of real estate, you're actually going to take your resources, which is money and time, to buy a property with the expectation of having good either positive cash flow or good appreciation. However, sometimes it just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't end up being what you wanted it to be. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about investing is that the higher the return that you're expecting, the higher the risk it is. So if you're a beginner investor, I really recommend that you hire a coach or a mentor to work with you to help you navigate through all of these things, because you are now minimizing the risk of having a bad investment. So now let's go through some of the things that could be risky when you are investing in real estate. So the first thing is the real estate market. Nobody can control the market. Nobody knows when the market is going up and down. And depending on where you are located, the actual value of the properties can fluctuate quite a bit. For example, in the city of Toronto, it has seen a tremendous growth year after year. So the risk of the properties going down is not as high as going into some states in the United States, which they have had a tremendous change in the market, and properties can sometimes fall down to 50% of their value. So you gotta be aware of where you're investing and have a little bit of a history of what has happened in the real estate market in the terms of fluctuation. So that is one. The second one would be choosing a bad location. As a beginner investor, sometimes we think that we're invested in the right place because it is close to something else that we know it is a good location. Majority of cases it works, but sometimes it is very, very granular. So that's what is very important, to know the location that you're in so you can decide where to actually buy the property. I have seen in Ohio, at least, that sometimes 2 blocks from where you're investing is just not a place to be, and the properties are completely different price, even though the houses are similar. Maybe they have 3 bedrooms, they have 3 bedrooms. They're 1,500 square feet, they're 1,400 square feet, and they're very similar in age and everything else, but it's just because that location now has the proximity to other things, or maybe they're gentrifying, that it's just doesn't give the value as other properties, even though they are so close to each other. So that's what is very, very important, to understand the location that you're in. Another risk that we have is to have negative cash flow. If you're buying a property for buy and hold, and maybe you have high vacancy, that is going to create a negative cash flow for you. And the same, maybe you're not charging enough for rent. And all of these things, especially if your situation is not ideal, now you are going to be out of pocket with all of these things, because if you have a mortgage and all of those other utilities and don't have a tenant, or you have a tenant that is not paying enough and is creating a shortfall, that may be a risk for you. The other thing is that you may have problem tenants. And this is very scary for a lot of people. And in some cases, most say, no, I'm not going into real estate investing. I really don't want to deal with bad tenants. But it is statistically proven that only 2% of renters are bad, are the ones that they call it, really the tenants from hell. The way to avoid a bad tenant is to do a proper screening. And you can hire a realtor or do it yourself. And even when you do a really, really good screening of tenants, a tenant that started as a good tenant may become a bad tenant after a while. And it is because of life transitions that they go through. Maybe they lost their job, maybe they became ill, maybe they're getting divorced. So there's always a reason for it, and it cannot be totally avoided, even though you do your due diligence. The other thing that we have as a risk is higher cost on repairs or maintenance. And this could be because at the time of buying the property, there was not enough inspection, that maybe you didn't detect an issue of a problem that could happen. Maybe you did a repair, but the repair wasn't done properly, and now you have to either redo it or continuously repair, which costs a lot of money on a long-term basis. And the last thing is the lack of liquidity. So depending on your circumstances, and if something has changed that you need to sell the property quickly, depending on the market, you may not get the money that you wanted for, or the property may take a long time to sell. So those are the things that I wanted to tell you. What are the risks to avoid? But the best way to avoid all of these things is by hiring a mentor or a coach that can help you go through this and avoid all these pitfalls. As a review, the major risks that you can have in real estate is, first of all, the market. You can't control it. Choosing a bad location is number 2. Having negative cash flow, maybe problem tenants, higher repair costs, and lack of liquidity. I hope this helps. Thank you for being here on the show. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when there are more shows available. And if you would like to have more information on how to start investing in real estate, please visit my website at www.aracelihernandez.com. Thank you.